with us today. Good afternoon, Divya. Okay,
Good afternoon.
good afternoon. So I think we can start off. It's 12:05. Or
Yeah,
shall we wait for another couple of minutes?
I think we are good to go. We can start.
Okay.
Shall I start, Sheila? Right.
Yes, yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are so glad to have you join us today. This session is brought to you by Atulit Academy, founded by Radhika Kautha, a dedicated learning designer and corporate trainer. Radhika's work is centered on equipping professionals with the practical tools they need to navigate today's workplace challenges with ease. Her mission and the core of everything we do is built on three pillars: clarity, confidence, and ownership. Today's conversation, you are teaching all day, but only a few are really listening, has been designed to be both high level and highly practical. To ensure we have a smooth session, please keep a few quick housekeeping points in mind. Please keep your microphones muted to ensure the best quality of sound quality for everyone. We invite you to use the chat frequently for your thoughts and questions. Make sure to stay until the very end as we will be sharing an exclusive resource created to support your professional growth. And before we start, a quick show of hands if you have ever experienced this. In a classroom, have you ever experienced students looking at you but not listening? Show me your hands up if you experience this. Okay, we have started receiving responses. Repeating the same question three times. Right. Finishing a class and wondering if anyone actually learned. Happens with you? Raise your hand. Feeling more exhausted than your students. If this happens with you, please raise your hand. All right. So today's webinar is not about teaching better, it's about helping students listen better. And surprisingly, the solution begins with us. Today we have with us Sheila, a language and communication trainer who empowers professionals to communicate effectively and boost their careers. She offers engaging workshops and coaching to build confidence and achieve goals. Over to you, Sheila.
Thank you so much for that warm introduction, Pushpa, and a very good afternoon to everyone once again. And so we'll just begin with the agenda for today.
Yeah,
Yeah, great. Thank you. So today we'll be touching upon why students stop listening to us, experience disengagement firsthand, reflect on your own classroom engagement techniques, leave with one strategy to use tomorrow. So let us begin the session. So Um, the simple present tense is used to describe habit, routine, facts, and universal truth. The structure is subject plus base verb. For third person singular, subjects are added with s or es to the verb. For example, she plays tennis, he works in bank, the sun rises in the east. Negative sentences are used with do not or does not. For question forms, we use do and does at the beginning. Now, let us look at additional examples. So, what is it that registered? Tell me one thing that registered as I was reading this in the chat box. If you registered anything at all, use the chat box and type one thing you remembered that I read, Jessie. Nothing. Okay. Anyone? Okay. Students stopped listening. You reached to the answer. Yes, and yes, used. Okay, nothing. Okay. Thank you so much for those responses. So, how many of you actually felt like your mind was wandering? You can be honest. You can just text, or you can also unmute and tell. Yes, Sadaf says yes. Radhika, Sujata. Okay, great. So, yes, Jata. Thanks. Thanks for those responses. So, basically, what happens is when you are just reading the content, nothing would go wrong with the content. But what happens is it's the experience. I spoke, you people listened to it. Your brain had no reason to participate. So, this is exactly what happens with many of our students when this is an experience that they experience every day. But what would we think? We will think, so can we have the slide, Pushpa? So this is almost like I would say that you're watching a cricket match. Just imagine you're watching a cricket match, and now imagine that the commentator speaks continuously without showing the scores, without replay, or even asking experts, without crowd reactions, just one person talking. Would you watch the 3 hour match, or what would you do?
No.
Of course not, right? Yes. So we expect students to do exactly that. Is that possible? So, and we come to a conclusion saying that, what do we say? We say something like students have short attention span, students are not interested, students don't want to learn, isn't it? Has anyone got any experience that you would like to share? Sadaf, you want to say something about it?
Yes, ma'am. Many times it happens that it looks as if we are just going on saying, and the student, they are just not interested. So we have to pull them back. What happened? Why you're not paying attention? Pay attention. Come
Right,
here. So that is it.
right, right. So, Pavitra, do you have anything to add to this?
Yes, ma'am. Basically, it is not the attention problem, but the consistency we cannot maintain until the end. Maybe they are attentive in the beginning, but until the end, somehow it will be lost.
Right,
Like
right,
this is the reason.
right. Yes, Vaishali.
Ma'am, I just want to actually I teach students who are in college, and they are around 19 years old. But I think different age group respond differently. So these students already they are in the stage that they consider themselves that they know more. And second thing is what kind of subject you teach them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I teach history
Okay.
to 19 plus students, 19 plus age students.
Mm.
So that is hearing the word history only they tend to think that is boring. And I'm teaching degree students, like a degree who are in the first year of degree, or you can consider diploma students.
Mm-hmm.
So they have that kind of attitude that though we try to make a slideshow or try to show videos also, they think it is boring. And some students who are sincere, they understand it. But those students, there are type of students also who are actually sincere, and those are students who are not very sincere.
Okay.
So those sincere students understand, and those who are not very they take advantage of the baba, I'm teaching history, so let's like not consider that I'm not interested only. So if it was I was teaching bore means if it was actually boring, then the students all the students should get bored.
Right.
Yeah, I have that kind of experience. So I just thinking ki how I'll make it more interesting, that all the students should be interested.
Let's see how we can help this situation. So while we discuss this, there is something that we would like to ask you people. Like, if it is your classroom, then if you have to do a reality check, I have few questions. You can score them from between 1 to 5. So if the first one says, I speak more than students speak, so what would be your score for this statement? I speak more than students speak. What would be your score? Between 1 and 5. You can just write it down. Okay. I have a few couple of questions. You can just write it down. Even if you don't share it, it's okay, because we are going to total it up later. So the next one is, I start classes with attention. I'm sorry, I start classes with attendance. That's the next question. So if you are starting your class with attendance, then what would be the score? You can just write it down. Then the next one is, I ask questions only after explaining. You ask questions only after explaining. So what would be the score? Score yourself. Then the fourth one is, I have the same teaching pattern every day. I have the same teaching pattern every day. So you can take time, just write down these scores. And the last one would be, students can predict exactly what I will do next. So these are the questions. So you can just total up the scores that you have between 1 to 5, whatever scores you've given to all these 5 questions. If it is 20 plus, okay, you don't have to share the score. Students may be surviving your class. In case your score is 20 plus, then students may be surviving your class. If it is between 15 and 20, students participate occasionally. And if it is below 15, strong engagement habit. So you are following something where there is a strong engagement habit that is being followed. So with this, I would like to take you to a situation where, imagine you've gone to a restaurant. Okay, this every Friday, probably you visit this restaurant very frequently. They serve exactly the same menu. Okay, exactly use in the same plate, probably, or they may play the same music. Would you still enjoy going to that restaurant? You get a routine feeling. What is the feeling you would get? Do you have, has anybody had this experience? Boring, Sujata says. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, fine. So if it is a routine feeling, okay, until it becomes very predictable, so you know what next happens, what comes next, right? This is exactly how the students would say. they would say, "This is so boring. They don't hate routine, okay? They hate predictable boredom." So we'll have to break this predictable boredom. That is, you may have to change the pattern that you follow every time you enter a class. So it's almost like we could say something like learning is not a spectator sport. It's not like they're just sitting and they're just saying, okay, abhi ye aayega, okay, this is going to come, okay, this is going to come, okay, that's the end. Fine, it's over. So would anybody like something like that? Would we like it? Definitely not, right? So now we can just look at working on this and get something adapted in the classroom. So let's look at the next slide. Pushpa, can we have the next slide, please? So actually, the students don't lose interest because content is boring. Students lose interest because their brain has no reason to participate. So if you want them to be participative, you want your class to be interactive, and you want to get that feeling that you are teaching and they are able to absorb what you're teaching, then the best thing that you can do is do a 10-minute of teaching. Let them do something like, let them think or let them write something, okay? Or even you can also have some where they can do be some voting kind of an activity, or even discuss a particular topic, ask them to give their inputs, and then let them predict. Okay. So it should be something like this, a 2-minute participation rule where you teach for 10 minutes and give 2 minutes for them to either you ask them, keep a quiz, or obviously we can't do a poll because it is an offline class. So you can do a quiz or you can do a poll where you ask them
Has she frozen or is it my
Yeah,
screen?
I think she's frozen.
No, she is frozen, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you call before she comes back? Sheila, are you back?
yes, there was a power cut. I'm just connecting to.
The hazards of
Can-
technology.
Apologize for this. Okay, yeah, we are set. So I have, so we were with the engagement of the students in the class to make the session more interactive. So this way we will also help them to improve their learning. Okay, this helps in improving their learning. So now I have a poll for all of you where I would like to share a screen and ask a question. Okay. And let me just get the Mentimeter up.
Uh,
Okay, I'll just get the screen up.
yeah.
Okay, so I have a link in the chat that you can click on and take the survey while I share my screen. So, are you all able to see the link? Are you able to click on the link?
Yes.
You're able to click on the link. So it can be your own answers that you can share while I share this on the screen. Can you all see the screen?
Yeah, we are able to see. Yes.
Yeah. So what will education look like in 2035? So what do you all think? So I have got responses, no books, online. Okay. Can we have the other responses? Okay, global classes. Nice. Modern technology, skill based, online. Great. Great. So that's amazing. So now, do you all observe that how we got so many responses and the session became more interactive? You started thinking, you started you started using your thoughts while we asked a small question like this, right? So this is something that we could inculcate when we are trying to take a session. And then you will see that a few seconds of getting them into this subject actually help them to draw you already drew attention, and you also happen to allow them to think and also draw their attention towards the subject that we were discussing. So now your so nothing magical happened. It was very simple, right? You were just talking about I was just talking about a subject. I just asked you a question and I got so many responses. So I'm sure this can be inculcated in our daily classrooms where you can draw the attention of the students and make it more participative. What do you all think? You think participation can happen this way?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. So I would say something like the person doing the thinking is the person doing the learning also. So when you are thinking, you are also making an effort to learn what is being taught. So that way, there is reciprocation from both the ends. Yes, Radhika.
So I am an advocate for the teachers today, the educators. So my question is, Sheila, if we are in a classroom and say, for example, college, okay, we are asking a question, but then we receive no response. The response is nada, nil. It's as if you are just looking at mute spectators. Vaishali, please correct me if I'm wrong here. Uh,
Yeah. Yes.
so
Yeah.
we are with full energy and we pose a question, and then the answer is like complete silence, or that one student who always answers all the questions.
Yes. Most of the students are blank
Yes.
sometimes. It's like they're sometimes the sincere students keep answering and they're more excited, but some of the students remain blank. So it's little bit to how we sometimes because I ask questions, I always ask them questions, and sometimes I don't get response from them most of the time.
Okay.
So I'm not able to judge where I'm going, like what is wrong sometimes because of that.
Okay. So, Sadaf, Pavitra, can we have your notion also, please?
Sadaf, do you have anything to add to what Vaishali has to say?
Ma'am, actually, I am teaching children one to one. So I mean, I don't face that scenario.
You might not face that scenario, but what is your take? It's like, this is just a pure discussion that is going on. So, what is your take on this? Like, why is Vaishali having this trouble with the new generation? And why is she not being able to connect?
Ma'am, I can answer only after 1 minute. Let this Azan.
Sure, sure. Pavitra?
Now it seems that different groups of people would be requiring us to approach in different levels, and then not everybody will be understanding one sentence in the same methodology. So the different categories expect our change in methodology also to make them understand.
Okay, right. Sujata, Divya, would you like to add something? See, Vaishali, we have children like this in class.
Yeah, so we have something for them as well. So it's a most uncomfortable question. But then, yes, it's a question like, could our teaching accidentally reward silence? Yes, it does. Pushpa, can we have the next slide, please? So this could be a result of one is they may not be able to connect what you're trying to say, or it can also be that it could be boredom, or it could also be language barrier, or lack of confidence can also be holding them back. And if I put myself in this person's place, a silent student's place, if I don't know the subject, I'm going to keep quiet. I would wait to understand from my co-learners, and then probably I will say, oh yeah, this could be the reason. So then what we can do is, if it is something like, um, if I have to ask, if you are seeing like Vaishali told us that there are some students who are quiet, and so Vaishali, do you have any idea why they are quiet? Could it be a fear, or it could be an anxiety? Will somebody judge me if I tell something wrong? Has there
Uh,
been any? Yeah.
Actually, every year we have the like last year, I had 10 students, and before that I had 30 students in a classroom. And I can share you one experience because when I was teaching these students, because they are in college, the front students pay attention, and the behind students were having their mobiles. They were
Oh.
bringing with the mobiles. So that was a 30 student thing. And 10
Mhm.
students, I then later made it more interactive with the 10 students, and made it more friendlier with them.
Okay, that's
But I
very
was not
nice.
able to reach them. I don't know what is, because I tried to be more friendly with them. But and I asked them what's the issue, like why they are not responding or not. They were absent also sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't understand the reason why they are behaving like that.
Okay. Okay, fine. Does anyone else want to add to this before we proceed? Yes, Radhika.
Vaishali, my take over here would be that we are living currently in a world where students, it's not that what you call they don't want to listen or whatever, they just lack pure attentiveness. It's like every 10 seconds, their mind is distracted. It is the distraction that causes them not to listen. It's not the teaching. So we have to, what do you call, change our teaching methodology to modern, to a very, very modern phase than what we were taught when we were actually learning teaching, if you're getting my point.
Okay.
So basically, something, I would like to just add, I mean, not add, Sheila, just continue the
Yeah.
conversation. And in the end, we will come back to techniques as to how Vaishali can better this.
Yeah, okay, fine. So, what we had for this was like we could design some questions. If you are asking a question, if it is very technical, like if you are asking them to talk about, explain what is photosynthesis, you could probably simplify it in a common man's language, asking them, where do the plants grow at home? So then they'll start thinking, okay, where do the plants grow? Whether they grow in indoor or in the shade, or do they grow better when there is sunlight? So when you give these kind of options to them, they are able to connect to real life and are able to understand, and they will come out with their own creativity. And when their answers come, it's going to definitely be out of the box, I'm sure. I'm sure most of you will agree with this. Or even if you ask about inflation, for instance, if it is a older class and you're taking economics, and if you ask them about inflation, you can instead of asking what has become more expensive these days, you can probably simplify the question. Instead of using the term inflation, it's more a technical term. So, in a simple man's language, you can just ask them a question like this: what has become more expensive? And probably you will get a more, better engagement from these quiet students, and they may also come out of their uncomfortable feeling, and they will also get that confidence to come out of their shell.
I have noticed in many of the sessions when you are talking about simplifying the questions, say for example, when you relate it to them more, they tend to answer. Like, what do you call? Let me just say, because she's saying history. Um, Maybe instead of saying the French Revolution happened in, I'm sorry if I'm getting the date wrong, Vaishali, please pardon me. Uh, this is just for an example. So, the French Revolution happened in 1789. Uh, so instead of just pointing or stating a fact, what Sheila maybe you mean is that twist it in such a way that if you were an advisor to the king, what would you have done?
Yeah.
So maybe this connects. Even at college level, they do come up with funny answers, they do come up with weird answers, but they listen.
They connect, yes. They're able to absorb in their own way. So we just have to test, see what works. And just like how we were taught in school, try the trial and error method. And then probably if this doesn't work, keep something else ready. And then you could probably shoot. And then I'm sure you'll definitely get some valuable responses from the students. That is what uh, this particular silent student remedy would be. So now, um, yeah, there are some more things that we can do that we would like to share in our next slide, which probably will give you some more answers to what you're looking for in today's session. So, Pushpa, can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah. So the transformation that we can look for in our class is you could probably, give options. You can give them some surprise facts, probably even a prediction question or a real life problem when it came to history, like how Radhika was saying. or even a controversial statement where there may be input from different students from what they have learned, or even a story. So I have a few examples over here. So imagine if we have to give something like, let's relate to Netflix, and imagine you're watching a series, and the first episode has something like, today we will discuss the characters, their background, their relationship, and the end. So nobody will watch, they'll just skip that episode, I'm sure. Right? What do you all think? I'm just relating it to Netflix because most of us watch a lot of programs on Netflix, and we are in the OTT world. So I thought, let me just give this as an example. So, surprising facts, okay, something like, it's your stomach gets a new lining every few days. Do you know that? Did you know this? If you ask something like that, then biology begins. What do you all say? And if it's a prediction, you could probably say, will robots replace teachers? Then definitely the discussion will begin, because teachers always, I mean, students always think that the teachers are like boring. So if you ask a question like this, then they'll definitely start thinking. Or even like the option three, a real life problem. You have 500 rupees. Imagine you have 500 rupees. Would you buy a shoes or invest it? So economics begins there. When you ask them what will they do with that 500 rupees that they have, they'll definitely think what they want to do, whether they want to buy something for themselves or would they like to invest it in something where they can get returns. Or even controversial statements like, homework should be banned.
Or
I'm sure
maybe,
they,
or maybe
yeah.
could Mahatma Gandhi and Subhash Chandra Bose have worked together? Just like an RRR flick, because you said Netflix.
Yeah. So, and then, English class suddenly wakes up. Or even a story like, when I was in class 8, probably you can tell your own story. I failed a math test. That failure taught me something. New students learn, they learn more, they lean more forward, and then they'll say, oh, okay, ma'am also failed, okay, fine, let's listen to her story. And they may just get up, and then all they start connecting to this story, and then there is, you kind of activate their thinking ability. So what do you all think? Is there something that you would like to adapt in your sessions? Any of these? I just gave you a few examples. I'm sure you all are very creative and you may come up with your own creative ideas. So, Vaishali, Pavitra, Sadaf, would you like to add something to this? Do you have
Um,
something that you want to
Yes.
practice? Yes.
Ma- Ma'am,
Yes.
I think I will, because students, to reduce the gap between me and the students, I will tell my failure, as you said. So that is a thank you for the suggestion, because I realized right now that there was a certain gap between me and the students, and I couldn't connect to them, because if I would tell
Absolutely.
my failure to them as in form of story, maybe they would be able to connect to me. So that is,
Yes.
yeah, that is a very good suggestion, ma'am.
Great, great.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm very
Even I would like to add that not only failure, talking about yourself also draws their attention. They are
yes.
interested in the teacher. Oh, let
Correct.
me know more about the teacher. So the other day, I was taking a parent-teachers meeting because this is an online platform, Vedantu, and they are little children. So the father is a doctor, and the father is like very strict, and they came up to me. The father, in fact, the AC connected, the enrollment happened, and then the father had a talk with me, and he said that, ma'am, look, I want him to read within 2 months. And अगर ऐसा नहीं होगा ना मैम तो धब्बा लग जाएगा, he said this. So I was
Dhabba
like,
lag jayega, Sadaf? Did he use
धब्बा
that
लग
word?
जाएगा. Yes, he used that word because he's a ophthalmologist. सो उनकी लगता प्रेस्टीज में लग जाएगा कि उनके बच्चे को 2 महीने में नहीं रीड हुआ तो द स्कूल विल रेस्टिकेट हिम. So he
Oh,
used that word. So I said, sir, don't worry, I will work on it, and I'm sure he will be able to. So when now I'm taking his classes, the boy's name is Shashwat. He's so scared, but every time I tell him, Shashwat, you can do it. You tell me. So that perk up, it works, and he's reading so well. Then I called the father after 1 month. I called him for a PTM. So he came, and then he's saying, no, ma'am, no improvement. He's not reading at all. I said, no, sir, he is reading. You have not seen it. There is an immense improvement. And if you are going to tell him all the time on his face that you are not reading, Shashwat, you are good for nothing, and nothing is happening, the teacher is not giving any improvement, so that will not work, because you are a doctor. So you know, if you tell your patient that आप तो अच्छे नहीं होगे, तो फिर आपकी आंख तो गई ही. So that patient will never be able to recover. So please encourage him, and now the bonding between the father and child has increased. So that is one point, and I even told him that, look, sir, I can understand this thing because my father was also a doctor. So doctors understand this thing more. So you need to understand that your child is working, you need to encourage him. Don't keep telling on his face that you can't do. If you tell him you can't do, he will never be able to.
right.
So,
Very nice.
Sadaf, how old is this child, if I may know?
This child is in class 3, I think. Class 3.
Father
He's
is talking
improved.
as if it's in IIT, so I had a doubt.
Yes, that is it.
Yeah. Okay, please, Sheila.
Yes. So, so I think we have almost come to the conclusion of today's session. So if you people have anything else to add to it, it was very nice to get your experiences, get to hear your experiences. And Vaishali, it was very nice that you are taking something with you to execute in your sessions. So I would like to ask something, all of you, or if there is a statement that says, if you have to complete this sentence, I'll just post this in the chat. You can probably try to answer it for us. So, if you have to complete a sentence that we are sharing as of now, what would it be? What would you, starting tomorrow, I will stop and start. So what would it be? What would you like to fill in these fillers? You can share it in the chat. You can also unmute yourself and you can share. Longer class without any break. Yeah, definitely. If you have
How
more
long are your
interactions,
sessions, Vaishali?
Around 3 hours.
You want longer sessions?
No, no,
no, she'll reduce.
I was
She will
thinking of
stop.
giving more activities within the class. Uh, like the activities might be in form of story also, or give them to do small basic activities. Like that is what I was thinking now, because we have a lot big syllabus, so the thing is like we have to complete the portion. तो इसकी वजह से I try to think that I have to complete the session within this time and I have to finish the syllabus within this time. तो इसके वजह से वो break देना बहुत difficult हो जाता है. But now I'll try to see that there are more breaks in that thing. And I had a question, if I'm not disturbing. If I have a 3 hour session, so because the time span of understanding and concentration is limited, what what is the duration of the breaks I should consider?
You don't
So
need a break, Vaishali. What do you call, in the sense, after every, what do you call, half an hour or 15 minutes, just rack their brains with either a fact or a survey or a question, or what do you call, so keep on stimulating their brains. I've noticed that when it comes to college students, the more simulations you use, the better they listen to you. Like simple, Sheila suggested before, simple questions like, if you were a freedom fighter, what do you call, deciding between what non-violence and resistance, maybe what would you do? So give them relatable stuff, and even if it is a single sentence or a two sentence, it doesn't matter what they answer, if you're getting the point. It is just that you are racking their brains here.
yeah, and when they have a discussion within the group, they will come up with a lot of information that maybe the others may not know. So you are not actually keeping them in the session. You're also giving them a break when you are asking them to discuss. So yeah, they are in the session, they are focusing on the subject, plus they are also discussing something which is very valuable. That's what you could consider that as a break. So and then draw them, like you'll have to find a hook where you can just get them back. Okay, then this is what it is, and let's proceed, and you just take it forward. So it becomes interactive, they are relaxed, they are not kind of tense that they have to listen and absorb everything that is being given to them. So when you make it interactive, like how Sadaf has shared in the chat, like she said, talking one-sided and with more kids to talk. So when the children talk or when the students talk, you also get your time to breathe, and you're also listening, you're relaxed, and they are also relaxing when they are talking. So this way the interaction happens, break happens, and your class goes on. Sadaf, you have something to add?
Yes, ma'am. I want to actually discuss about one of my kids.
Sure.
So this child is very small, and actually it is happening with two children these days. I'm seeing the children. They tell me stop talking. What should I? How should I handle that? They are very small. The one he is 4 years, and another one is a bigger one. So I teach them. Then suddenly he's listening. He's listening to the songs, doing the activity. Then he said, "Stop talking." And then the other one said, I told you not to talk. Why you're talking?" So how should I handle these situations? Because I mean, for a minute, like it hurts, like or makes me think that how should I proceed with the class?
Sheila, will you take
So
this or do you want me to?
you can take it, Radhika. I think you'll give a better one.
Yeah. So, Sadaf, my thing is, what do you call, 4-year-olds, right?
Yes, 4 year, and other one is 7 years.
Okay, for the 4-year one, both of them, in fact, have you ever asked the question, why do you want me to stop talking?
No, I didn't.
We don't know why they are reacting that way.
Yes,
So once we know why they are actually reacting that way, then we will be able to tackle that problem. Because a 4-year-old's brain and a 7-year-old's brain these days, especially, they're very, very complicated.
yes,
We don't know what's happening in the background. We don't know what's happening, why that is triggering the child. Basically, the child is getting triggered here.
yes, yes,
So the first question you put is, why do you want me to stop what do you call talking? Because it's very easy for us to get hurt. No way, no doubt about that. Because जी जान लगा के हम पढ़ा रहे हैं and the child is not reacting. So
No, ma'am, more so because I take the class at 2 a.m. The child is from Georgia, and I take the class 2 a.m. in the night. I'm awake for him. And then he will tell me, "You stop talking. Why are you talking?"
Yeah, so just find out why he is saying that, because there are different things that trigger. Either they are just irritated by the droning of the voice that is continuously coming. Sometimes we notice when it is children, we don't change our tone. If we
Yes,
don't have an intonation, or if we don't keep on cross questioning them with the questions that they like Sheila pointed out, the obvious questions. So
yes,
they don't like that droning, continuous droning, listening to that. They feel as if
Also, yes,
yeah.
I would like to add something over here is Sadaf. We'll have to get control of our own self because I know how it feels when a 4-year-old or even a 7-year-old is asking, talking something like this. First thing that will be like, how can they talk like this to me? Is the first thing that
yes,
comes, right? So we'll just have to, set ourselves grounded and tell, okay, fine. So there is some problem here. Let me just hold on to my emotions
yes,
and let
yes,
me get
yes,
compassionate. And then we just, like how Radhika said, ask that question is definitely going to give you a lot of answers and
yes, I
work
think
on
so, please.
Yes. So that's something that we'll have to work on our own selves. That one is you're teaching, you're staying awake at this time, and all those things, that self pity, and you'll be thinking of yourself. So we'll
Yeah,
just have to come
literally.
out of our shoes and then sit next to them there virtually and ask them, okay, fine. So now what is it? What is it that you want to tell me? Or why do you want me to stop? So if you rephrase your question and ask them in a very compassionate way, then probably you'll get better responses or even a better idea to tackle them.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Thank you. Surely. Thank you so much. It will be
My
helpful,
pleasure.
I think.
Yeah. And do ping us. You'll be always in the group. If this does not work out, do DM us
Okay.
and we'll come up with solutions, because this is the first basic question.
Yes, ma'am.
And once that comes out, and even then, if there is a glitch, we are here. This is a supportive group. You're always will be empaneled either in one of the groups. So just DM and we'll get it and we'll send you the solution across.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, Vaishali, you have something to say?
I after listening to Sadaf, I have one question. Since the she deals with students who are very small, I deal with students who actually cross the teenage. So the way of dealing with the students is different. So at this age, they are almost adults, like they are start of the adult thing. So I had thinking how should, because they have the thing called privacy also. Privacy, ये सब चीजें होती है उनको. They are very the thing what adults actually the adults which they do, they are adults at this generation. So how should I deal with them so that I can be friendly as well as I can connect with them also. So how should I deal with them?
Uh, okay, with them probably first, like we could probably go to our own example. If you get the gist of what you want to connect with and help them out with, probably you could just think of what you would have done in that situation. Would yeah, yes, Radhika, would you like to add something to this?
Yeah, Vaishali, my take is like, if you really want to connect with, because I take guest lectures in colleges. So if you really want to connect with children at college level, you have to ask bold questions, bold adult questions which are not controversial and they immediately connect. You have to, because being friendly is one thing. The moment you start sharing your personal experiences with them, now my thing is, I do something which maybe it's like, even though I don't have a personal experience, I convert it into one and narrate it in such a way
Yes.
so that they immediately connect. So this current generation, they respond more to simulations. Please remember that. And they respond when you connect the past with the current thing. So if you want to be more bold and friendly with them, you cannot ask them personal questions because Gen Z gets very personal. You can't
Yes.
touch them there. Yeah, it's not like, when we were young, or the previous generation, where you could just pose a personal question and they would be quiet. But if we ask something personal, they lash out. Gen Z doesn't like it. They're very private people. Vaishali, please correct me if I am going wrong somewhere. Okay, I would like you to participate in this conversation. What you think will work out, and what you think will not work out, and even if you have more questions.
Yeah. Because they're like how Radhika said, when you want to connect them, you'll have to put yourself in their situation. Like, you don't have to give them details. You can just give an outline that I really understand what you might be going through, but or maybe statements where it could connect to them, or I can imagine how you must be feeling. But then, yeah, let me know if I can be there to do something. Because if I was in your situation, I would, like, you can't give a clear answer. But then, yes, everybody's situation is different. This is something that you could say. Correct me if I'm wrong. Shali.
No, thank you, Radhika, and thank you, ma'am. It's becoming more clear to me.
It's just that we get very emotional when we are not given importance, because this is each one's experience, I'm sure. Personally, all of us feel like we are trainers, we are teachers, and we need to be given that place. But then, yeah, sometimes we just have to come out of that costume and then tell them that, we have gone through this, and maybe somewhere we can just add if we can be of some help.
So,
Not.
Vaishali, what do you call? Basically, when it comes to college, the connect gets a little bit less. When it comes to students, it will be not like school. And the only thing you need to aim at is ensuring that your session is engaging. When it comes to a college, you can't expect, the children need to respect you. Only when they respect you will they come to your sessions, will they enjoy your sessions. And to gain that respect, you have to be, there are sessions where, when I find that, it's not working out, I just stop everything. I know my syllabus is going to be behind. I know what I've came for is not going to achieve, but I just sit down for 5 minutes and I ask them, why is the connection not happening? What's going wrong here? I openly ask that, and I openly tell them that my problem, saying that, because we're dealing with adults here. Okay, so I openly tell them, see, this is the deadline that we need to reach. So how do we propose we do it? And do you think you will get good marks if I just shorten the entire thing and get it over with? So put the ball in their court, openly discuss it with them, and trust me, it changes. The paradigm shifts when this happens.
I hope Vaishali are with us.
Yeah. I was having one more question. I teach for degree students and diploma students. So degree students understand much more better compared to means the students which I have, the degree diploma students. Their diploma students have just passed 10th, and degree students have passed 12th and they have come. So the maturity level is different between the two students. So These students who are diploma students are come from, you can means mostly not from Pune. They are from out of Pune. They come from village and all. So sometimes what happens, some of the students are quite bold. They come and ask questions. Some of the students don't understand. So I was just thinking कि how I should change the approach to those students who come from the village. एक तो लँग्वेज मराठीमध्येच बोलतो. मीन्स मराठी I give preference to Marathi, but yet I don't know what complex they develop or what is the issue that they don't come. Because now like they are the parents, parents don't interfere right now in college level thing. Parents, means college level may parents, they are these people actually, I have a interacting with them compared to the parents. So I don't have any issue with these students, but I have issue with those students who are come from the village. One thing is they hesitate to approach me due to the language, or they have some complex. That is the thing which I didn't understand this last batch which I took.
Okay. Okay. I think I'll take this because I deal with these kind of students as well, Vaishali, and I can totally relate with what you're trying to say over here. Here, what you can do is continue with the Marathi and then also make them bring that awareness, the importance of the communication does happen. And if they have the credibility, appreciate whatever they're good at and tell them that you are equally good, and also tell them that you can't be perfect in everything. That is something that you have to embed it into them, and you will reach where you want to. Just focus on that. If they're getting agitated, you can probably ask them to I mean, they'll definitely open up. These people will actually tell them because they are as it is in that complex, so they will open up. So you will get to know where their pain point is, and then you can address it.
Thank you,
Radhika,
ma'am.
you have something to add, Radhika?
Yeah, Vaishali, you can do another thing, added to whatever Sheila has said, because it makes it's very practical. I find that whenever there is a communication gap or whenever there is a communication problem with the children, you have to give them short-term goals and you have to give them a lot of motivation, because they come from a very different background, and like you said, they are always living in this complex that others are better than them. So the first thing that you need to do is you have to just tell them that this is the stage you are in. Let us not aim for to be a orator. Let us just aim to go to the next level. Just give them a short term achievable goal. When you give them small achievable goals, and the moment they achieve that, there is this sense of huge confidence boost that they get in them. And keep on prodding them, keep on what do you call motivating them till they reach that short term goal, because for you it is a short term goal, but for them it is long.
Yeah, it's a long term, and um, you just need to make them understand that they are different. Each one is different, and each one's potential is different, and they will come out if they make an effort. So they should first take that leap to try. You try it, you may fail, but then you can keep trying it, and you just have to ignore the judgment, because ultimate thought that will sit in their head is they'll judge. People will judge us. I think all of us have gone through it, and even the current generation, everybody will go through it. So you just have to tell them that they have to ignore that if they want to achieve what they want to, and they will definitely come out of their shell.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the suggestion.
Most welcome.
And Sheila, it's like over here, somewhere down the lane, I personally feel that they are, especially the new generation, they are very much into what people will think. We were like that, okay, but these people are emotional also about it. That is the biggest problem.
Yes, I know. And they can get very aggressive when that is not addressed sometime. They can just, bounce back at you. They can get very irritated.
Ma'am,
Yes,
like some of the times when we take Viva in the exam, like we ask them, ki, why you didn't complete that? Means they have to show the work. So why didn't? So the one thing the word they use depression. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So they it's very easy to use. I don't know whether they understand the word depression. So I don't. They are very matured in a different way, but they don't understand or they just use it very easily. That word.
No, Vaishali, you are in a
yes,
world where depression is becoming a factor. It is actually they feel depressed because for them being disheartened is equal to depression, not depression. And if they are disappointed or disheartened with something, in their mind it is depression.
yes.
Okay.
If their work is not recognized, they don't get any appreciation that they are expecting, which is a normal human tendency that you do something nice that you think is nice. The other person has to tell, this is good, this is nice. So that actually boosts their morale. Yes, definitely. But then there are times when you need to also introduce them to accept truth. So, yes, it can get better. So, there is somebody who's better than us, is something that has to digest into them. That has to be induced gradually. But getting hold of them, yes, you have to first get hold of them, and then these what to say, universal truth will be injected slowly later.
Vaishali, try this the next time. If somebody comes and says that I was depressed, keep a very understanding face. Whether you understand or not is irrespective. So,
Sounding empathetic.
keep a very understanding face and then just say, oh, you're depressed. Why? A simple why.
Why?
Immediately understand that that fellow is bluffing. And then the next question pose that whether they give you the answer or not, wait for an answer. If they give, well and good. If they don't, well and good. The next thing that you need to ask is, see, we have a viva, we have to finish these questions, I have to mark you. What do I do? I cannot give you marks just like that. So this generation basically, yeah, the moment you say okay, that I'm really sorry that you're depressed, they like it. And then you explain to them logically, they like it.
They are sympathy seekers and they also
Mm,
want things logically. So both. So
absolutely.
we'll have to
Sympathy
play
seeking, you
our,
found the word, Sheila.
yes. Yeah, they. So we'll have to first get hold. It's an emotional game, I would say. You have to hold on to yourself first, stay grounded, and then take it forward, and you will see the results.
Are
It'll happen.
simple. It is like Sadaf's 4-year-old must be thinking, why me? we are
Yes, ma'am.
we are in that kind of a generation currently. So our methodology or our approach in thinking, like, see, all of us, all the tutors, educators, 90% of them have finished their B.Ed and they have come and everything. But what we were taught in B.Ed is in, I personally feel, is in the dinosaur era. Nothing related to
Yes.
whatever is going on currently. So
Yeah.
we have to keep on, keeping ourselves upskilled when it comes to teaching the new generation. So any more questions? Vaishali, Sadaf, Divya,
Pavitra
Pavitra?
is stayed quiet. Pavitra, you have something to
No,
ask?
ma'am. It was a very nice session.
Yeah.
Liked it, and a lot of takeaways also taking back and implement it in the
Uh,
class. Let's see.
Yes.
yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes.
Pavitra.
Yes, ma'am. No questions understood. Basically, I'm not into it. I'm not into teaching, but somewhere I can relate it with when we are providing any presentations, and in that case, I could able to relate it. So yes,
Yes.
Great, great.
that was insightful, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vaishali,
Okay.
what would be your takeaway today?
I should say I think I asked the maximum questions,
Doesn't
It was
matter.
good. Good you
and
asked.
I am really thankful that I see to that my sessions are much more interesting to the students, and I see to that it means where I'm lagging. It's always a learning process. Actually, students and teachers are both learning here. With every generation, I can say every year or every semester, the students change, the mindset change. So it's always a learning process, and we need somebody to guide us.
You are still
So
with Gen Z, Vaishali. You are going to encounter Alpha next. That is going to be at the next level. They are completely different. Sadaf is already dealing with the Alpha. So Gen Z, you will find them the thousand times better than Alphas.
I
okay.
know it's like a teacher's role is, you're getting to taste different mindsets. So, which is nice, but we just have to be ready to, accept it.
Yeah,
So,
every
yeah,
year we have to innovate ourselves, because
yes.
I give examples that the the year, like, look at the work, what level of work these people have done. Just learn from them. So
Hmm.
every year the output is different for all the classes, and I am very much, like I said, that we need somebody to teach us, guide us also as teachers. We need, and I'm very much thankful that I attended this session.
Great.
Basically,
So,
every month we have a session, what you call, for educators in general. The entire crux of us starting this conversation is to help out each other. Because, if you have actually noticed, Sheila just finished 10 minutes prior to the actual time. The reason is so that we can discuss our problems and come up with innovative methods to go on, because we need to, because if the children are all together, then yes, the educators also need to come together to understand and train them better.
yeah, so I have a poll here for all of you. We would like to get your inputs. So I'm just sharing the link in the chat. So if you can just give us your inputs.
Dinesh has raised his hand, Pushpa. I mean, sorry,
Yes,
Sheila.
yes, Dinesh. Yes, Dinesh. You can just click on the link in the chat and please.
Yeah.
Yes, Dinesh, you have something to add?
Hi. Hi,
Hi.
Radhika. Hi, Sheila, and everyone here. I would actually like, I was listening to all these things, and I have a different generation to deal with. And recently, I have been involved with this Gen Zs and Gen Alphas as well. But I just want to share one thing that one day I gave them some session, and they were very happy. And other day, I was when I get more deeper, they become like the session is getting bored and something like that. And then I stopped there at that particular moment. And then I start asking them, okay, let's stop it here and then do something which just whatever you want to. So just give me some ideas so that we can move around it. It's related to the topic itself, but yeah, and I was amazed to see that what I haven't even imagined, or what, because what we as what we prepare ourselves is like what we want to tell them, but it is other way around. They are there that they want to ask or see us like what else we can tell them. So that is the biggest difference I have imagined now. When Radhika, you were talking about Gen Zs and Gen Alphas and all those things. So it's a reverse psychology altogether. We can't give them the old examples. Like हम हमारे टाइम में ऐसा होता था, कूलर होता था, फैन होता था, and if you give these kind of absurd examples for them, so they have not seen those days and they don't want to. ऐसे इसमें हमारी क्या गलती कि आप लोग उसमें पढ़े हो, आप लोगों ने ये किया है. So they don't want to listen to those examples or even the storytelling. So now the storytelling is also very advanced. Like you have to go like not back to the future, but you have to go in like to a different angle even to give the examples also.
Okay.
Vaishali, another thing which I really find very interesting when it comes to college students and they really reciprocate is I deal with mystery sessions. Like in the sense, related to the topic only, it hardly takes 5 minutes for them to respond or whatever. But I give them a set of, I just give them a sentence, and then I provide them maybe a set of 4 to 5 clues related to it, and they have to what do you call act as detectives and determine the solution. That
Wow.
works very well from them. This I found it a hit actually. They like solving somehow. I don't know why. And I always antagonize them by talking critically about movies that they like. If you really want their attention, go just do your what do you call background what do you call just go and look into Marvel history and talk about Spider-Man and relate it to whatever is going on. If you don't get a response, I will change my name. They just love it. They just love any new movie that comes. You link your session with that and you just talk about it. If you cannot link with it, there is always AI. You can ask its help to link it with your session. So that becomes very very what do you call relatable to them. So these are two things which I have used, which have worked out. That's why I'm telling you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it will be a hit. If
Oh,
that,
they
yeah.
love it. They just love anything related to horror. I did big horror like anything Gen Z. It's like they are perpetually depressed. I personally feel because they see horror shows. So many of them. Yeah. Uh,
So we would like to conclude the session over here, and there's a statement that we had on our last slide that I would like to share with all of you is that don't aim at completing this, covering the syllabus, aim to uncover curiosity. So this is how we would like to end our session. So here's the last slide with the statement. And yes, over to you, Pushpa.
one last question before we move on. What do you call Divya? We would really like to know your takeaway from the session.
Yeah, so for me, it was very insightful hearing Vaishali and Sadaf, their issues because I take a class for a 10-year-old public speaking English class, and he is not really wanting to do the class, right? And the whole discussion that you all had gave me some inputs on how I can make him hook to my class or at least listen to the class. So his, like Sadaf said, yeah, the parent wants immediate, improvement,
Results.
right? And I told it will take me at least a year of continuous class and efforts from both ends. So today's session gave me a lot of ideas on how I can try to create some bonding with the child, so that I can connect and help him improving. So it was very insightful, and the conversation that happened later, that really helped a lot. So thank you, Sheila and Radhika.
Thank you so much. Pushpa, over to you. You too are an educator, so we would really love
Yes.
to have your takeaway too.
So after attending the session, I realized that we all are sailing in the same boat, whether we are teaching a 4-year-old or a senior grade. So all of us are in same boat, and the problem is all with the attention, the interest. So the strategies that you all have shared, Sheila, Radhika, I'm sure it's going to help to bring that interest in the students. I mean, it was really insightful session.
Great. Thanks.
Over to you, Pushpa.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you everyone. And today's session was never about technology. It was never about smart classrooms. It was never about fancy tools. It was about one powerful realization. Students remember the classes they participate in, not the classes they merely attend. If even one silent student speaks because of something you try tomorrow, this hour has been worthwhile. Thank you, Sheila, for all those practical strategies, and a huge thank you to everyone who spent part of their busy day with us. So, we are
Thank you.
sending over a takeaway to help you reclaim your schedule starting tomorrow. While you are here, do click on Atulit Academy links to keep the conversations ongoing. Mark your calendars for June 27 for our next bold conversation. Registration details are coming to you your way shortly. Have a brilliant and productive day ahead. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to us, and thank you for this opportunity. Have a
Sadaf, did
good.
you want to add something?
Uh, no, ma'am, the session was very good. I loved it. I'm looking forward to many more sessions like this. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
Thank you so
So
much.
we are just brainstorming over here. Would it be comfortable, not you per se, but in general for tutors or educators to have a 12 o'clock session or a 6 o'clock session?
6 o'clock, no, ma'am.
IST.
12 o'clock is better, I think, because 6 o'clock I have my classes. So I have actually classes for Indian students and for the international ones, early morning, late night, very late night. So I have a real hectic schedule and all kids. And as you were saying that I'm handling the alpha generation, really, these kids, ma'am, like they are our future, and I am I would just switch on my camera, you would say I am old, like I I'll just switch on. uh, I don't know, it's not switching on. Well, I am now 55 years old, so I belong to a
I'm
very
with
different
you. I'm
generation,
sailing
very
with
very
you.
different
Don't worry, Sana.
generation, and I have to like put up all that energy to be with them. So one of my student, I will like to add this. um, he's changed 3 teachers. Then my senior teacher or manager, whatever you call, she approached me that, ma'am, can you take up this? So I said, okay, let me try. So I took it up, and I have to like do little research work also. So in the class, I talked with him about Roblo, about brain rot, and about all these things they see. What games they
Brain.
play these days. Like, I'm not aware of it. So he asked me, "Man, you play?" I said, "Yes, yes, I play. I play." So this character, that character, I keep jotting it down, and then I go through. I do a little research work, and then the next class again, I'm chatting with him. So that way, like he's giving me 5-star ratings after the class.
The brain rot names are also very difficult to remember.
Yeah.
Yes, Roblo games, and what all games they play.
Yeah. There is one character, Banana Banini or Panini Banana or something. Yeah, yeah, their names are like that. The characters'
Yes,
names
yes.
in Brain Rot are like that. Panini Banana, Banini Banana. I am like, okay, let me first remember, then I'll think.
Yeah, but the moment you spell out correctly, there is an instant connect that happens.
Yes.
The moment you say it, they are hooked. I mean, then you can, connect it and take it from there.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So, yes, we call it a day, Pushpa.
Yes, thank you, everyone.
Okay, right.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good
Okay,
afternoon.
thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
guys.
Bye.
We'll see you in the
Thank
next
you.
session, interesting session with a new topic.